Containers are helper objects that let you organize scene contents into logical groups or blocks. Objects within a container are then manipulated as a single object. If you are coming from a CAD background, think of containers as AutoCAD blocks. 3ds Max containers can save content to disk for collaborative purposes. You can even set rules to prevent others from editing container content. Containers can be managed from the Helper command panel, the Tools menu, or the Container Scene Explorer. The Container Scene Explorer is a regular scene explorer with a container toolbar that gives you direct access to container commands. You create a container like you do a dummy helper with a simple click and drag. In this scene, we have a kitchen cabinet made of 3 parts: a cabinet body, a door, and a handle. These 3 objects are hierarchically linked to perform logical transform operations like move and rotate. To group the 3 objects into one container, place the container where you would need to have it serve as an anchor or insertion point to the geometry. In this case, place the container in the back center of the cabinet at coordinates 0, 0, 0. At this time, it is called a local container, meaning you created it locally on your system. Local container display as open. The container is now ready to be filled with components. Use the Add tool to add container nodes. In this case, all 3 parts of the kitchen cabinet. At this time, it would be a good idea to give the container a name that reflects its components. This is a 12-inch low cabinet, so name the container Count Low Cab 12i. Do not use illegal symbols like double quotes when naming containers. You can display the label on the container helper object to make it easier to identify in the viewport. You can also change the size of the helper without affecting the geometry. At this time, you need to consider if you want to provide editing rights to others. If you do, turn on the Allow Edit in Place option. If you do not want anyone to edit the contents of your container, leave this option unchecked, as is the case right now. You are now ready to save the container to disk. You can use the Save As command to that effect. If you forget to use the Save As command and proceed directly to closing the container, you will be prompted to enter file name. A container definition file is saved under a Maxc extension. After you save and close the container, you can no longer access its individual parts. In fact, you cannot select this geometry at all. You can still transform the container to move or rotate the cabinet for scene placement. However, as the original author of this container, you can still open it to make changes to its components. For example, you can mirror the door so that it opens from the other side. At this point, you can create a new container definition file using Save As, or simply update the existing one using Save. Close the container before moving on. Let's take a look at how containers react in a collaborative environment.